Korea is an unknown place for much of the world. Many think blinding neon lights, cell phone toting teenagers, and streets slammed with people. But venturing outside of Seoul, you quickly learn that it's also calm, serene, and incredibly beautiful. It is a place I call my homeland. I am here to explore my roots and to appreciate Korea's great pride and tradition. Growing up in a traditional Korean family in the UK, it was food that gave me a connection to my native country. Food was and is my link between the two worlds. I want to showcase the traditions of Korean cuisine, but in a new and exciting way. I desire to pay homage to my heritage, but add a new spin with new ideas and new flavours. With such a rich agricultural history, I discovered that the Korean people respect and love their land. Mrs. Kim is no exception. Abandoning her life in the city, she moved back to the very village and house she was born in, and is dedicating her time to farming and cultivating gochujang, 간장, and doenjang, the fermented pastes and sauces that are essential to Korean cuisine.
4개월, 5개월.
빛깔이 좋네요.
네, 요게 조금 더 진해져야 돼요. 색깔이 검은빛이 나야 되는데 이제 막 익기 시작해서 아직도 고춧가루의 색이 나고 있어요.
그러네.
나지? 익고 있는 지금. 아까 고추장 같은 경우도 조선시대 17세기부터 고춧가루 들어오면서 그걸 또 그냥 드시지 않고 고추장이라는 발효 음식을 개발했고.
Do you think that working in a rural way and helping to grow and cultivate the vegetables is in some ways a way of showing your patriotism for the land and its produce?
그 땅은 우리 그 삶의 그 역사라고 볼 수 있죠. 땅에서 일궈온 그 생명 그렇게 중요하게 생각을 했고 또 음식에서도 땅에서 나는 걸 먹기 때문에 건강 우리가 지켜나갈 수 있지 않나.
Working with the land is representing life itself. I've heard that a lot in Korea where people talk about food and say that it represents life, it represents love. In your line of work and working very close to land, how does that make you feel? What emotions do you have when you're so close to nature?
제가 요리를 연구하고 하지만 기본이 땅의 중요성, 얘가 나오는 그 식자재 그걸 농사를 알아야지만 좋은 음식을 만들 수 있기 때문에
Food can shed light on a culture, its history, its people, and even the way we communicate. It can be an experience, an emotion, and a way to not only bring two different worlds together, but to bring history to life.
Food is culture and history, I think.
Mr. Norsu Kim is carrying on both his mother's legacy and that of Korea through Yongsusan, a restaurant that allows diners to step back in time and revel in the royal cuisine that was once served in the Koryo dynasty. The food here is delicate, prepared with the utmost care, but also rich and vibrant.
This one is a very famous dish, bulgogi. But there are many different types of bulgogi. But this is called bulgogi soup.
And so the soup kind is the most traditional kind of
Yes,
bulgogi.
yes.
This is very impressive with the dragon.
Yes. And
Dragon, water, mountain,
yes,
right?
yes. And also my mother was born in Year of the Dragon.
So it has a lot of significance for you personally.
It is. It's a mountain. It's a real name of the mountain.
My meal with Mr. Kim has reaffirmed that Korean food is steeped in tradition. So much of Korea's history, culture, and philosophy can be found in the food itself. If there is one Korean dish that is already gaining global popularity for this very reason, then it's kimchi. I couldn't resist but make this staple dish on Korean soil with Korean ingredients. Mrs. Kilja Lee is a mother and a grandmother. As the matriarch, she knows the importance of family and how food plays an essential role in the Korean household. Like all families in Korea, Mrs. Lee and her family get together once a year for Kimjang, where they gather and make the kimchi for the coming year.
모든 가족이 하나의 어떻게 보면 그 가족 행사처럼 그렇게 하는 거기 때문에 굉장히 친목도모가 되고 또 멀리 있던 딸이나 아들들도 김장 때가 되면 날라주고 또 같이 속을 넣어주고 그러면서 그날 하나의 잔치처럼 행사로 우리가 여기고 있어요.
Mrs. Lee's words remind me of the time I first made kimchi with my own mother. I explained to her that even as British Koreans living abroad, we've been making and eating kimchi for decades, even when Korean ingredients were scarce.
한국 사람, 특히 요즘에는 많은 사람들이 이게 영양식품이면서도 우리의 스트레스를 해소해주고 또 우리 고향 같은 그런 어머니와 같은 존재로 느껴져요.
So the act of Koreans abroad making kimchi and adapting it to their own needs despite being outside of their homeland, how does this make you feel?
외국에 나가서도 이렇게 김치를 만들어 먹으려고 하는 이것은 아마 한국 사람들의 큰 자부심과 어쨌든 이런 김치를 나가서도 해먹을 수 있다는 건 굉장히 아주 한국 사람으로서 굉장히 자긍심을 갖게 되고 너무 자랑스럽네요. 그리고 고마운 마음이 드네요. 그래서 어떤 방법으로든지 거기 있는 재료 가지고 이렇게 만들어 먹는다는 건 정말 어떻게 보면 뿌리가 있는 한국인의 모습이 아닐까 합니다.
The very Korean elements of my experiences, together with my Western upbringing, have deepened my desire to influence how people see Korean food across the globe. Through our mutual love of Korean food, I made a special connection with Jackie Gable, a food writer from Minnesota working and living in Seoul. Jackie first stumbled across Korean food working round the corner from Koreatown in New York. Her appreciation deepened when she fell in love with a Korean man, and though her relationship ended, her love of Korean food has endured.
I knew I would love Korean food just by looking at it, looking at a table. It looks spicy, it looks strong, it looks like it's going to hit you in the face. But then when I tasted it, it's something more that happens. It's a kind of a multi-sensory experience.
It's so memorable. You taste it, you smell it, and it also invokes a memory of when you may have had a similar dish or yeah. So what about you?
There's textures and there's crunch and there's acidity and pungency behind the food, and you can taste the love that's put into it when it's cooked.
I think that's that passion and that drive is something that's easily translated across cultures and across different countries, and I think that's really key here in really trying to spread the word on Korean food and get that awareness up, is to do that through passion. Jackie and I both love food for its ability to connect us to different cultures, countries and people. For us to really appreciate the traditions and layers of Korean cuisine, it's really just understanding that food itself brings people together.